First up, against the USA captain Chris Barnes, before Stuart Williams takes on Anthony Simonsen. Then Don Barrett, the European captain, takes on the debutant, one of the debutants for Team USA, Tom Doughty. Then it's Barrett again along with Larson, as it's the two Team USA debutants, Doughty and Chris Vi, up in that one. Richard Teese and Chris Vi take on each other in match 6. Jesper Svensson plays Kyle Troup. What a historic matchup that is. Plenty of rivalry between those two bowlers. And we finish things off with a fans' choice match this evening. You watching get to choose who goes head-to-head on the lane. Head to webbercup.com to vote for the players you want to see. And Matt McNeil, looking at this order of play, we're seeing plenty of experience from Team Europe early on, and Chris Barnes making sure he gets his new guys out there relatively soon as well.
Yeah, you got, Simonsen. Doherty's the rookie this year, and for a 46-year-old guy, that's kind of odd to say, but he's a proven player. He's current reigning world champion, and he's had a lot of success as he's aged. He's like a fine bottle of wine. He just seems to get better.
Just gets better with age, he does. As well, I mentioned it there, Jesper Svensson against Kyle Troup a little bit later on this evening. Those guys have been in form and really performing for their respective teams for a few years now on this Webber Cup lane, and that's one very much to look forward to, isn't it?
I definitely think so. What the interesting aspect is those guys are roommates on tour, and they're also doubles partners in the National PBA Doubles Tournament that we have back in the United States. So they know each other very, very well, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they react when they're competing against each other.
Always we start the Webber Cup with a Baker match, the all 10 bowlers out on this lane. How crucial is that one to make sure that everyone's getting a feel for things, and for the new guys to start playing on this lane that's unlike any other with the crowd in so close?
Yeah, you got 3 rookies out there this year, so it's going to be really important that they deliver early on for their team and get their legs underneath them.
Well, if you're new to the Webber Cup, or if you just need a reminder, let's take you through how this competition works. It is a little bit different to a lot of televised bowling competitions. We use a world scoring format. It's 10 frame matches with no extra shots in the 10th frame. A strike gets you 30 pins. A spare gives you 10 pins plus the pinfall of the first shot in the frame. An open frame, you get the pinfall for the frame. The maximum score, though, is still 300, and any tied games will be settled by a sudden death roll-off, which we saw a couple of last year to add to the drama. Now, a key part of the Webber Cup is the lane pattern, which is selected by each captain alternately before the session. There are 12 to choose from. Team Europe actually won the coin toss to decide who went first, and they've given it to Team USA to decide, and Chris Barnes has selected the Makara lane pattern. And Matt, talk us through this, because to someone that's new to bowling, this might not mean too much. What's this 5-1 ratio and short, medium, tight? What does it all mean?
Well, the length is 38 feet. We have 60 feet foul line to head pin, so that means the conditioner is applied to the first 38 feet of the lane, which is considered a shorter pattern in the world of competitive bowling. That ratio number is the big one you want to pay attention to. Generally, the larger the first number, the more forgiveness the players have built into the lane pattern. So this pattern can, as a 5-1, is, for these pros, more of a mediate to moderate level of difficulty. So you can see some big games.
And it's worth pointing out just what a big difference to how this lane plays, the oil pattern, makes. We saw last year Chris Barnes picked the oil pattern in the first session, and his team was 6-1 up by the end of it. Why did they make such a difference?
Well, I think Chris picked a pattern that's going to yield to the power that Team USA has. They have a lot of rev rate. They have a lot of guys who are very comfortable standing farther to the left, having steep angles through the front, and making that ball come back and throw the pins around.
Well, will Team USA get off to another fast start, or will it be Team Europe that get the first point on the board? It's time for our opening match of the 2021 Webber Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Morningside Arena Leicester is hosting this year's Webber Cup. Proudly brought to you by Matchroom Multisport. It's time for our first match. It's the Baker match. Dusting off their Webber Cup. Please welcome the Webber Cup in blue. Please welcome to the arena, Team
Will Team Europe reclaim the Weber Cup in front of their home fans? Let's get this underway and join your commentary team. Matt McNeil has hopped over to the commentary booth alongside Phil Yates.
Thanks very much indeed. Yeah, this Weber Cup, brought to you by Matchroom Multisport, just gets bigger and better with every year. And of course now it has that added dimension. The fans are back in the stands, the atmosphere is crackling, and we're looking forward to a cracking match. Can Europe somehow overturn this American side that's full of 10-pin bowling giants?
Absolutely, Phil. The American side is on paper what you would call stacked. The Europeans have a tough challenge in front of them. Thomas Larsson going to get them started.
An opening strike would have been just what the doctor ordered not to be.
Yeah, Thomas drifting high. You know, this shorter oil pattern, Phil, tends to play very... It can play very difficult in the early goings because there's so much friction. You have 22 feet of friction out there, and what a beautiful spare. Brilliant spare by Thomas Larsson. Just can't place it any better than that, Phil.
Right through the goalposts, as it were. Now our first view of the incomparable Kyle Troup.
#1 bowler in the world currently, according to PBA rankings.
Not wrong. That was a good one.
Such a showman is Kyle, as was his father.
The showmanship definitely runs in the family. Good start and a good fill by Kyle Troup. And Phil, in this Baker format, open frames are just so costly. And they just transmit so much momentum to the other side once you have one. So it's really important that both teams got off at least with a filled frame.
John Barrett. That was a captain's innings, if ever there was one.
Oh, Dom just with a classy shot here. He's really dialed in. I watched him in practice. He's very confident. He feels sharp. And he puts an X up on the board for the Europeans.
Well, he used every single millimetre of the lane here.
Yeah, this shot just lost to the right early, and that caused the ball to project further to the right. When a bowler, Phil, loses it off his hand, generally that's what you're going to see. And Chris very fortunate there to not have the 10 in company with the 2.
So early, and we must repeat very early, Europe have a 10-point advantage in this match.
As Hannah pointed out at the top of the show, we're using the world scoring system. And here's the rookie, Richie Teese. Let's see what he can offer for Team Europe.
Someone's got to strike.
Doesn't lack for support, Richard.
Absolutely.
Tees in their matching blue T-shirts can be seen
Get this thing started, Christopher.
heavily populating the stands on the right-hand side of their man.
Yeah, that was a really, really good opening shot for Richie. And a routine spare.
Now his surname is spelt as though it should be pronounced Via, but it's Vi, Chris Vi.
Chris Vi, another rookie here for Team USA at the Weber Cup. Current reigning U.S. Open champion. An up-and-comer on the PBA Tour.
Above average. I thought it already straightened out because of our practice. If he was bowling a fresh match like I am, then yes, but not after we've already thrown.
So far in 5 of these 6 visits to the lane, 1 pin has proved stubborn.
That's what I'm saying. And about 30 shots. All right, leave it there.
And that is just not what you're looking for if you're Team USA. Chris, with some footing issues, it appeared stuck at the line. Generally, when a player sticks, he pulls it to his left. And these, Phil, I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it probably a few more times. Open frames are extremely difficult to overcome in these one-game matches.
And now it's Beef Stew Williams.
Stu a little frazzled by that shot. You can see the look on his face. He thought that was good off his hand, it appears. He really thought that ball was going to dig into the lane and get up to the 1-3 pocket. On this 38-foot lane condition, Phil, the 2-8 is a very difficult spare because there's so much hook, and it's very hard to get the ball to go through both pins.
Last year, the USA won the opening Baker match in the first session by 267 to 212. They can't match that score in this contest. They have to fight back and make the best of it.
Just what the doctor ordered for Team USA. Tom Dougherty coming through with a what we call light tickler over in the U.S. The head pin just kind of tickles him down.
Now, don't you just love this man, Jesper Svensson, the inspiration on the European team. That's rookie Dougherty. This is the Iceman, who performed so brilliantly in a losing cause last year.
The big Swede with the big rev rate. He does not get cheated. And you know, Phil, Jesper Svensson, with all that power, that's how he gets those pins to fly around. Not only does he have power, but he has the team experience. He's a member of the Swedish team. They play in the Swedish league at John Scott's Arena. I know he's got a lot of supporters back there. Very accomplished young man.
And so is Anthony Simonson, who was perfect in one match last year, bowling a 300.
High flush stuff you guys are trying, not going to work.
Oh, great shot there. The ball's coming right into your living room. Simonson with all that rev rate. That was what we were talking about earlier in the show, is the rev rate and the power that these two-handed players create. Really increases their chances of putting the bigger scores up because they're simply able to outstrike the one-handed traditional players.
So the second delivery of Thomas Larson, and that was on the money. The man who says no one likes the Americans fighting talk before we got underway.
Thomas is the reigning 2021 USBC Masters champion. His first major, he just won. He's, you know, Phil, he's really been coming into his own this year on tour. And I feel that's given him a lot of confidence, especially coming into this tournament.
Oh, Matt.
Well, you know, I think Kyle is... He's been guarding against that shot a little bit. I was watching Kyle in practice, and he said his ball reaction just has not been the greatest so far on this lane condition. And it's evidenced by that, as that was not that subpar of a delivery. However, he paid maximum penalty, and the U.S. is currently in a 29-pin deficit with only 4 frames to go.
Yes, a strike here for the skipper would put the USA in a very deep hole.
Phil, in all my years competing, whenever you have the chance to put your opponent away, you take it. Because the level of talent on that American bench, you just don't want to give them any chance to come back. Well, fortunate break there for Dom as the ball comes in light. Headpin tries to take out a few pins on the left-hand side, but the 10 is left standing.
You were trying to throw it good, and you aced everything. It just was.
This will be a routine spare for Dom.
The first cries of Europe. And the European fans here have got plenty to be encouraged about.
Europe doing everything that they should be doing. They've been hitting the pocket, they've been filling frames, and that's really what you have to do in this Baker competition.
Missed the first one and overcompensated.
Well, you hear Tom Dougherty, Phil, talking about Chris missed the first one tried white. This definitely was not going to happen again. Chris made sure it hooked, and it overhooked, going right through the face.
So the pin lead now for the Europeans is 30.
Huh?
Time is running out for the USA if the Europeans continue to execute.
That was all him, Simon. Yeah, that one. You just spun it right now. Two more now. Huh? Or 1-0.
A penny for his thoughts. He grew up watching the Weber Cup, loving the USA against Europe confrontation each year, and now Richard Thies isn't just watching, he's playing, involved. The heart must be aflutter.
he's been doing a really good job so far. He's only thrown 2 frames, but he's been doing a good job so far keeping himself composed and not letting those emotions get to him and prevent him from making a good execution out on the lanes. As a rookie, when you come out in this environment, filling 2 frames in Baker format, definitely something you're happy with.
Well, it's a strike or nothing now. Chris Vine, here's 2 efforts, chalk and cheese.
Yeah, Chris has just had the year of his life, and here's why. Look at how good of balance he has at release point. When the players have really good balance at release point, Phil, they're able to keep their eye on their target, get the ball right on line, get it off their hand clean and crisp, and that's how you create all that power.
If I go 1, I'll black 10. I know.
The pressure on
Purple gets to it.
Williams, but he's got the experience to handle it.
What a great shot here from Stu. You can see him post the shot.
Europe have already equalled their score in the Baker match to kick things off last year, and they've got a frame to go.
Tom Doherty keeping the small hopes Team USA alive here. Situation simply is this. Jesper Svensson needs to come up and mark. A mark of any kind will lock up the first match and put a point on the board for the Europeans.
This word last year to describe the USA early on. I'll use it now to describe Europe. Emphatic in that first match. Absolutely brilliant from Jesper Svensson.
Oh, it just can't get any better. High flush, 10 in the pit, and look at the reaction. Jesper fired up. The Europeans are fired up. They're sitting up straight. They got the crowd behind them.
All academic for Mr. Perfect from 2020.
Yeah. Well, maybe if he tried.
It is 2-4-2, 2-1-3. The Europeans make a much better start to the Weber Cup than they did last year. It's Europe 1, USA 0. Blue is the colour early on.